Now this exercise is quite different. If you take a look here, this is an offset bump. And you can imagine huge potholes. One of the challenges with the GLs, when they move forward to a unibody construction from the original ML that had a truck frame, there was concerns that the rigidity of the chassis wouldn't be able to withstand off-roading. Well, this really shows as we go through this, it's going to do this, and you'll notice there's no creaking, no groaning. The sunroof's not popping out. The car's going to be able to do this. So we'll go ahead and go through this exercise, and you'll probably feel it, but we're actually going to get the front wheel up in the air quite high and actually get it up in the air. You hear that noise, that's the traction control operating. As we're working forward, you feel how the car's actually balancing on three wheels for just a bit here. Here we go. You feel that sensation of riding up in the air? All right, so you can see we've got the chassis pretty stressed, so if I pop the door open, no issue at all. I can close it, no problem. Put the car back into drive. So there was no chassis flex that would have kept me from opening the door properly. Let's get it up a little higher. Now we've got a good crowd watching, so let's get the left front wheel. We'll wave to them a little bit with the left front wheel. See how we're doing it? Yeah, there we go. So let's bring it on around. So you can see we're able to do that, no problem at all. We'll pull around here to the side tilt. We'll watch the other car go through that so you can really see what's going on. I'll lower your window down.
Thank you.
I have found a new respect for the GL 450.
Thank you.
All right, we'll lower those windows down so you can see well. So watch the wheel. Now watch what happens to the wheel. When that wheel jerks and releases, that's actually the traction control grabbing the spinning wheel, holding it, and moving the power to the opposite side. You can see how much travel there is on the suspension. With the aromatic suspension, you enhance that. Also with the active dampers, it releases the dampers and the sway bars so you can get full travel of the suspension. So he'll load the chassis up again and watch that front wheel as it comes up. Come on forward. So there's the compression. Look at the rear wheel. You see it's completely off the ground. All the power is going to the opposite side and bring us around.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, real cool.
All righty. So let's take a look over here, guys. I'm gonna put it on this side tilt hill right here. Now this car will actually tilt quite a bit. So you can see we're tilting at about 12 degrees. It can actually tilt up to 30 degrees without rolling over. So we've got a nice angle on the tilt right there. So you can see we have stability both left, right, fore, and aft. Let's bring it forward now. This is a pretty aggressive hill coming up. You see that? Go ahead and roll our windows back up. Now that's a little more than the average GL or whatever approach, I would think, right?
Yes.
So we want to make sure we're completely set right. I've got it raised all the way up. I'm in the low range. I've got my traction control system on the full off-road setting. What that's going to do is give me good positioning to get up this hill. Now you want to do it slow. So I'll take my time as I'm working up there. And you can see that's quite rugged as we work our way up. Yeah, and you can see from the degrees on the hill, we really are starting to put some angle on it as we can start working our way up the hill. So we're up to about 30 degrees on the hill. We get a lot of blue sky. Now, one of the challenges with off-road, it's pretty easy to lose sight of where you are when you're working it.
True.
So especially like, look at this angle of the hill. We'll see nothing but blue sky as we come up. So right now, I don't really know where the car is in relationship to each side. So I'm gonna switch it back to the camera and use the camera to help me out. I can see where the rocks are, where the cliff is, and I'll use that as we're working our way up through the trees. You can see the car made it up, no problem at all. We're up here at the top of the world. Now this was all built for the original ML, so it's quite tight for the longer wheelbase, larger GL. But it does it no problem at all.
It's bumpy, but other than a few spots, it's not as crazy as you would think.
It's the independent suspension is allowing us to do this, which is quite unique. If you think of a traditional Jeep with their solid axles, they can certainly do this, but not with the ride quality that we're getting now.
Yeah. This is 70 degrees, right?
No, we got another hill. We'll find you another hill. That was about 30 right there downhill.
Yeah, so 70. That's awesome.
All right, so this water crossing, the car will actually ford just under 2 foot deep in water, so about 23.5 inches. Now today it's about 17 inches deep. So I'll leave the camera on. I'm gonna set the down speed up a little bit. We'll just let it roll into the water a little bit. You can see from the camera, and you actually change your downhill speed regulation with the cruise control.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm doing that right here. I'm at 3, 4, 5. So we'll let it roll on down the hill.
Gotcha.
Here we go. The car just disappears into the water briefly. Splashes through. No problem at all. And guys, that's just Alabama's version of a hot tub. All right. Up and over the other side. Now, being from New York, you know what potholes are all about.
Oh, yeah.
So you got some pretty aggressive potholes here. And as we go through them, you'll actually see the suspension articulate. We'll make it as smooth as possible as go through these big potholes.
That's because of the radar? It detects
No, it actually is just showing it. It's using sensors to show the travel of the suspension.
Oh, okay.
You see how it's working?
You can see the front too. See the front wheels as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's really, really cool. It tells you the how deep here.
Yeah, and it also, one thing that's neat, it will show you your degree of steering. So this is a very tight radius around this corner here.
How much is this package? I forget.
This is the enhanced off-road package is like $38, I believe, but you need to check and find out for sure on your cost guides.
I think you're right, Sherman. I remember it being under $4,000 for both vehicles, MLA and GL.
Okay, we're not quite to the rollers yet, folks. All right, so we're getting over here. We're going to be up on the rollers next. Now, one thing that is kind of interesting, that very tight radius, if we were in a more traditional vehicle with hydraulic steering, at that low of engine RPM, we wouldn't have the enhancement of the steering, power steering, that we did just then, because the electric steering is always operating. You can see as it drops in and out of the potholes. Lots of articulation, filming each other as we go through.
That's pretty good.
All right. Now this is about a 15-degree hill, increasing up to about 40 degrees at the top. If you imagine this is an ice-covered driveway, these rollers on the left are very slippery. When we place the wheels on those, I'll switch the camera on so we can see those rollers as we come up.
And I'm surprised about the, even though it has a 20-inch wheels, it's still,
Oh, it's able to do it, no problem. Now I'm gonna get the left front wheel of these rollers. Have all of you seen the traction control light flash before in a car where the orange light flashes? So we're gonna really get the traction control working. When the left side wheels start spinning, it stops the wheels from spinning and pushes the power to the right side. So I'll give it a little power. The front wheel's now spinning. Let's get both left wheels spinning pretty well. Now we're gonna get 3 wheels spinning. All the power's gonna go to the right rear. We're on 3 sets of rollers right now. Make it up, no problem at all. Up and over the top. And this is a steeper hill, of course. We'll get closer to 30 degrees up, 40 degrees. A lot of blue sky. I'll leave the DSR set at 5 miles an hour. We'll just roll on down the other side. Here we go. Whee! And there's the brake system operating the car.
I love that.
So as long as the system's turned on, you have to turn it on. It has a limitation of what type of speed it will control.
If you touch the brake, it affects the...
Yeah, it'll override it, no problem. You can use the throttle to override it also.
Car at the rollers.
All right, so let's do this is about 50-degree uphill. So even if you don't do any off-roading, but you have a steep driveway or you have a boat trailer, you don't want to scrape it on the hill, you can raise the suspension up, get the car up here right at about, say 48, 49 degrees. Lots of clearance as we crest over the hill with the enhanced ground clearance. We'll bring it on down. Now when we're coming through, let's take a look over here at Steve. Watch his wheels as they lose grip. You'll see they actually jerk and stop, jerk and stop. Oh, yeah. That's the traction control, grabbing the wheel that's spinning, holding the power and pushing it to the other side of the car. You can see he's making it up, no problem at all.
So that's part of the 4MATIC system.
It is. In fact, if you had a C-Class and you had it on that hill, it would make it up there if you had the 4MATIC system. That's true of all the 4MATIC systems. Okay, let's put it up and over the top here, another little hill. You got a little railroad crossing here. Lots of travel necessary on the suspension here. So with something like this, the reality is, if you say are going out to a freight yard to pick a package up and you've got a GL, you've got a situation like this, you raise the suspension up, you can still use it. So we'll get it up and over these bumps as we go. It's like any other railroad crossing. We just want to do it as slow as possible, smoothly. And one thing to point out, we don't have any kind of special tires on the vehicle. This is a this is a Pirelli Scorpion tire. It's an all-season tire. Makes it no problem at all. In fact, we're even running the standard air pressures right now. So no changes at all to the vehicle to get you to be able to do this. And even in the New York area, if you think about it, you guys drive in the snow. This thing has a snow mode also, which is pretty effective. So let's bring it up and talk just a little bit about the different modes we have available.
Have you ever had a flat tire experience with some clients doing this road test?
We have not.
No, really?
No. We've
awesome.
had 0 flat tires. If you notice that white trailer, we have 8 spare tires, but as of yet, we've had no flat tires.